Is Nick on? There you go. Good afternoon. Just a little explanation at the beginning of this meeting. This meeting that we're calling to order is actually a special called meeting of the Henderson Corporate Park Development Committee. The voting members of the Henderson Corporate Park Development Committee are your city commission. Can we have a call for attendance, please?
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Here.
Commissioner Witt. He was just there.
Minor technical delay
Commissioner Vowles.
Here.
Mayor Staten.
here, and we'll wait for Nick to respond again. Nick, can you hear us?
There.
Thank you.
And he said he's here. All right, so we got 5 people. Buzzy, you want to take over the reins on this one, sir?
Okay, just first of all, we have had a request from one of the property owners, being Pittsburgh Tank and Tire, to make proposed site changes to their property in order to meet their expansion needs. And part of the restrictive covenants for that corporate development requires that nothing be built within the 50-foot front yard setback for that. But that being said, their plan submittal does encroach on that 50-foot setback. Thus, I want to go back a little bit in time. Pittsburgh had done an expansion several years ago where they came before this committee and asked to develop storage in the front of their structure, which the Board of Commissioners had to approve, and they did. So with that being said, at that same time, Pittsburgh had obtained signatures to remove the restrictive protective covenants for that development. However, at that time, we did not take action on it in my discretion until we could evaluate where the planned expansion, or how that was to happen. And so we're back at this point in time again that request is being asked of this committee. And the issue has to do with the economic development for their planned expansion. Mostly the project consists of a new parking lot and also additional new laydown area for material storage. Jerry Smith with Pittsburgh Tank and Tire is here today. Jerry, would you like to come to the podium and answer any questions that the Board of Commissioners may have?
How do you want me instead of Jerry?
Either one.
Thank you.
Do you have anything depicting of your proposed project?
I can share with you, Buzzy. Thank you.
Okay.
Ben Johnston, thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to you again today. So our expansion, Buzzy talked about additional parking, additional laydown area. That's a small portion of what will be approximately a $5 million expansion facilities to allow additional growth, additional job employment, all in favor of economic development for the community and ourselves as well. I can answer any specific questions, but obviously without some additional parking area and additional laydown area, we're landlocked and just don't have the ability to produce more work unless we have this laydown area that we need. Thus, going back to asking to delete the covenants to the industrial park that were go back to 1996 when it was being developed.
So the only other added information at the time that the petition was submitted to the city We've had one property owner change. That would be Morris Tool and Die.
Yes.
However, Henderson Water Utility, Bart Bowles is here, would replace that property owner, and I have discussed this with Bart, in which he will go back to his board in June to ask if they support the removal of these protective covenants. So whatever action the Board of Commissioners takes today, we want to make it subject to HWU agreeing to the removal of those protective covenants, and that the plans that Pittsburgh Tank and Tire will be submitting to the Planning Commission and any conditions that they may place on this site plan proposal be met through the Planning Commission.
So, and this could be a question for either one of you. Ben, thank you for joining us today, by the way. So are we talking about, and sorry if I missed this, a permanent removal of the restricted covenants or for a period
Yes.
certain?
Permanent.
Okay.
According to the original covenants, it takes 75% of the property owners to agree to removal once it's full.
And we believe that once Bart signs on, if his board gives him that determination, we'll have 75%?
That's correct.
We're good to go?
And mostly the restrictive covenants were planned for new development. However, over time, there's been at least 2 cases that I'm aware of where a property owner were making improvements to their property that required it to come back before this committee.
Well, Ben, we thank you for even thinking about investing $5 more million for economic development in
Absolutely.
Henderson, and I think all those stipulations that you said would fit, and I think I'd be on board for allowing you guys to expand and create more jobs here in Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, absolutely.
Gonna do any other questions or anything? So what I would like to do is entertain a motion to remove the restrictive covenants, subject to HWU agreeing and subject to the plans being submitted to the Planning Commission in adherence to any conditions that they may require.
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions or anything? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowell?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Thank you, Ben, for being here. We
Thank
certainly
y'all very
appreciate it,
much.
sir.
We
Thank you,
appreciate
Ben.
it.
We
All
appreciate
right, all right. Being a special call meeting, we are not allowed to discuss anything else. I'll take a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned from the first meeting. If it's okay with everyone and pleases the board, we will move straight into our second called meeting. Thank you and welcome to the special called City Commission meeting for May 28, 2024. What makes this a special called meeting is only because we adjusted the time slightly for today's meeting. This is a regular meeting day and will function as a special called meeting. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Here.
Commissioner Witt?
Here.
Commissioner Vowell?
Here.
Mayor Staten?
Here. First up on the agenda is recognition of new employees. Buzzy?
Megan, Connie, we have, I think, 4 new firefighters here today. We also have a new program recreational manager, and we also have 1 intern. So, Josh, if you could bring your new employees up and introduce them, please.
Oh my gosh, you got a whole new department today. What's going on?
Whole new shift.
Yep.
All right, so back middle of February, the city hired 5 new employees with the fire department, and due to the time constraint of getting them into the academy, we were delayed in introducing them to you all and to the commission, so we brought them here today 4 of them just recently graduated from the Fire Academy May 17th with honors. They were averaged around 93% on all their testing and received all their certifications. The first gentleman is Mr. Will Martin from Owensboro, Tegan Miller, Boonville, Indiana, Dalton Hinkle from Henderson, Kentucky, and Austin Yeckering from Owensboro. And then our 5th gentleman, he had his certifications when we hired him, so he did some in-house training, and we got him on shift, and he didn't actually have to go to the academy, and we broke him in pretty quickly. He was on the grain bin rescue and multiple structure fires. But that's Will Cawthorn, and he's a native of Madisonville. I told him they had to speak for 1 minute.
Is there anything that any of you all would like to say to the commission or to the city? I will tell you on behalf of the city, we certainly appreciate you guys very much. We appreciate all of our city employees. The fire department, you got an excellent chief, first of all. Probably one of the, not probably, he's definitely one of the best fire chiefs in the state of Kentucky. And so we appreciate you guys coming over and coming on board. Second thing I want to say is that Henderson's a wonderful place to live. And that's right. That's right. So we got 4 of you that don't live here right now. Our doors are open. And if you find yourself really liking the fire department, want to make a career out of it, I'd like to invite you to move to Henderson and become a part of our community outside of just your job. But other than that, we welcome you to Henderson. We very much appreciate the work that you are going to do for us, and you're going to find nothing but support from the City Commission. Thank you all for coming on board.
Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome.
Trace, do you mind come forward?
I'd like to introduce to the commission James Gordon IV. He is our new recreation program manager. He started 2 weeks ago. His very first day on the job, we immediately enrolled him in lifeguard classes. So his first day, he showed up at 8 for his orientation, and he left for home about 8 that night, after finishing his first round of lifeguard classes. Since then, we have put him through the ringer, I guess, as it were. He worked Memorial Day with us yesterday, making sure that the Atkinson pool was open, and he also worked Saturday on opening day of the Atkinson pool. So we really we've started him about as hard as it's going to get, and it'll just hopefully, if he can handle the first couple weeks, he'll be good to go for the rest of the year easily.
All right. Would you like to address the commission or have any words for the city?
Well, welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the city. And how did the opening for the pool go?
Go ahead. That's you. No, you're in charge of the pool, man.
It went great. Kids and families had fun.
Good deal. We that's one thing that's important to the commission is the operation of the pool from beginning to the end of the season. And in this environment that we're in across the country, a shortage of lifeguards and stuff, we understand it's not an easy task. But we appreciate you coming on board, doing what you can, and welcome to the city.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I think one important thing, he does have a background working with kids, and I think that's important to know, and brings a lot to the table, and I think he's going to be able to help in all arenas of Parks and Recreation Department.
Yeah, I'm very excited. He's already had a couple of ideas that he'd like to bring over from his former employer, and that I think would be a great addition to the Henderson Parks and Rec Department. So we put him, like I said, yesterday at the Memorial Day was a very, very busy day at the pool. From open to close, we were literally, at 6 o'clock, we had our pool full of kids that we were asking to leave at 6 at closing time. And so we were incredibly busy, but everything went smoothly thanks to James and his staff at the pool.
Thanks. Awesome.
Good deal. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate having you. Yes, sir.
Sam,
Oh, we got more.
now this one's also special.
This is Ty. He is the safety intern that I'm going to have for the summer. So today was his first day. So we're just getting started. So, go ahead and
I'm Ty Bogus. Just graduated Henderson County High School last Thursday, and in the fall I'm headed to Murray to do major in occupational safety and health, and minor in engineering design.
And I think you are also an ambassador.
I was a few
Yeah.
things in high school. I was a student ambassador for the high school. This is the first year y'all did city junior ambassadors. I was a part of that program. I served as class treasurer. I was in student council, treasurer for the Y Club, vice president of Skills USA, on prom committee. Yeah, I'm not going to list it all, but yeah.
It sounded like you did list it off.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, thank you for coming on board. I'll tell you what's interesting about you is you get a little taste of what it's going to be like to work in safety for the city. And then you get to go off and get your degree.
Uh-oh.
And then after you do that, I'm sure that we can find a place for you at the city if that's a desire of yours in the future. So thank you for coming on board. Thank you for interning under Sam. You couldn't find a better safety guy to do that with.
That's true, yep.
Yeah, Sam's
learn a
awesome.
lot.
We love him. So thank you for coming to us.
Thank y'all for
Appreciate it.
giving me the opportunity.
Welcome.
Yes, sir. Are you sure that's it?
I think so.
Next up, we have a presentation from the United Way of Henderson County. Are they here? They're here, aren't they?
Gone. I don't see him.
We will skip that presentation for now. If somebody doesn't mind to reach out to them, let them know that we started today's meeting at 1. I don't know that information may have filtered over to them.
Right.
We'll get them here. We've got plenty to keep us busy until then. We'll move on to the Henderson Homeless Coalition. Are they here?
I'm texting them right now.
Okay, so we're going to maybe have presentations later on in the meeting. We're going to move straight on to the consent agenda. No, actually, we have a public hearing. We're going to have a public hearing on municipal road aid and LGEA funds. So if it pleases the commission, I am going to open that public hearing. But before I do, Buzzy, can you explain a little bit more about the purpose of this hearing?
As you're aware, each and every year, we receive money from the state of Kentucky through the fuel tax, and that money comes back to the city in the form of a certain dollar amount. And each year, as part of receiving the funds, we have to have a public hearing to see if there's any input from our community about our future or planned road paving projects that are involved within the city limits. And typically, we normally don't have any public comments, but it's just part of the process.
Gotcha. So hearing that, do any of the commissioners have any questions before we open up the public hearing? All right, hearing none, I'm going to open the public hearing for Henderson Road Aid and LGEA funds. If you are here and would like to speak as part of that hearing, you are welcome to come to the podium after I bang the gavel. Hearing no information, I will officially close the public hearing. Is there any follow-up action as a result that we need to take at today's meeting?
There will be.
Gotcha.
It's on the
Consent.
consent.
Good deal. Then we will move straight on into the consent agenda.
Consent agenda consists of the minutes of the May 14th, 2024 regular meeting, Resolution 21-24, resolution approving human resources report dated May 28th, 2024, Resolution 22-24, resolution approving municipal road aid cooperative program agreement with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet for construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of city streets in fiscal year 2024 through 2025, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the city. Resolution 23-24, resolution approving agreement with United Way of Henderson Incorporated, allocating $7,500 to receive, review, vet, and make recommendations regarding City of Henderson's nonprofit grant funding applications, and authorizing mayor to execute agreement. Municipal Order 43-24, municipal order approving addendum to lease dated March 22nd, 2005, between the City of Henderson and Henderson Recreation Association Incorporated, and authorizing mayor to execute addendum on behalf of the city. And municipal order number 44-24, municipal order accepting the stormwater management system maintenance agreement between Deer Valley Subdivision LLC of Henderson, the Henderson Water and Sewer Commission doing business as Henderson Water Utility, and the City of Henderson, and authorizing mayor to execute the agreement.
All right, are there any items that any commissioner would like to pull from the consent agenda for further discussion? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Whitt? Commissioner Bowles?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. If it pleases the commission, I'd like to request a 5-minute recess, as long as you guys are in agreement with that. Everybody okay with that? All right, we're going to be in recess until 1:28. Thank you. All right, y'all ready? We're back on. All right.
You can't do this business over there.
Thank you all. We're going to move on into our first readings. And the first thing we have a first reading of is from chapter 21, having to do with taxation relating to businesses and occupational licenses.
Ordinance number 23-24, ordinance amending Chapter 21, Taxation, Article 3, Business and Occupational License Fees, and ordinance amending Chapter 21, Taxation, Article 3, Business and Occupational License Fees, Section 21-31, Definitions, and Section 21-34, Exempted Activities of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Dawn, you want to tell us a little bit more about what this one is about? We've been working on this one for a little while.
Yes, so at the request of Clay Moran, Clay Gillum, sorry, at the chamber, they wanted us to look at doing an event business license for nonprofits who are having festivals here, where the actual event gets the license for the festival, then they'll supply the games and everything to the to our business license. But people who come in, they will not have to they'll waive their business license fee, because that will be under the event license. Now, if they're operating outside of the event, they will still have to have a business license. But the event will hold the business license for these. So like for Market on Main was what the chamber was really upset about, so.
And typically, we would have every business pay $25 a piece.
Right.
And instead of that, if it's 1 to 12 businesses, it would be $150. If it's 13 plus, it's going to be $300 is the fee that a group would pay to have basically this group license.
Right.
With still individual reporting requirements for net
Yeah.
profits and
Right.
occupational tax.
Sure.
So, anybody have any other questions or suggestions or anything else regarding this? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Whitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance amending Chapter 17 for Parks and Rec.
Ordinance number 24-24, ordinance amending Chapter 17, Parks and Recreation, Article 3, Special Events. An ordinance amending Chapter 17, Parks and Recreation, Article 3, Special Events, Section 17-45, Definitions, Section 17-50, Application for Permit, Section 17-51, Occupational License, Section 17-55, Contents of Permit, and Section 17-57, Possession of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Henderson.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, do we have any comments, questions, or suggestions?
This was a housekeeping ordinance. When we started going through it, we realized there were some things, and we also included the event business license, anticipating you all would pass that.
And then also, I'll add a little piece of information too. We passed that with the Henderson Flash last week, and they had Clay had mentioned that he wanted a deck built eventually for this to have the beer garden there, the Flash games. Well, Lowe's has stepped up and is going to be providing the materials for the deck, and they're also going to be building the deck. And so to start, they're going to have a temporary place for a couple of weeks through probably half their season. And then if everything goes to plan, then they're going to have this deck built with a little bit of shade and a nice elevated place for people to continue to watch the games, hopefully by mid-June. And I thought you guys might want to know that. I've had some questions about where's that money going to come from? Is it going to be taxpayer money that's going to be paying for it, stuff like that? It's not going to be. It's going to be Lowe's money that's going to be paying for that.
Awesome.
So just thought y'all would like to know. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Whitt? Commissioner Whitt?
There we go.
Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance accepting public utility improvements.
Ordinance number 25-24, ordinance accepting public improvements. An ordinance accepting public utility improvements consisting of potable water improvements for Copper Creek condominium water main extension project. I think that's it.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
I think you said aye,
Said
but
aye.
we can't hear you very well, Nick. There you go. Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Vowles.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have an ordinance establishing annual compensation adjustments for elected officials.
Ordinance number 26-24, ordinance relating to Mayor and Board of Commissioner annual compensation. An ordinance establishing annual adjustments in the compensation of the Mayor and Board of Commissioners of the City of Henderson.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt. Commissioner Vowles.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. We have a couple of municipal orders that we're going to get through, and then we're going to go back to our presentations. We have a municipal order awarding a quote for exterior painting.
Municipal order number 45-24, municipal order awarding quote for exterior painting of the Hart Building and Fuel Island at 401 North Elm Street to Robertson Services of Henderson, Kentucky in the amount of $29,137.48.
We have a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Do we have any comments, questions, or suggestions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt. Commissioner Vowles.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Next up, we have a municipal order awarding quotes for demolition.
Municipal order number 46-24, municipal order awarding quote for demolition of 1400 through 1404 Powell Street for a code enforcement division to Hazex Construction Company Incorporated of Henderson, Kentucky in the amount of $5,098.
Motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
I need to make one comment about the Powell Street property. The recommendation was to award the $5,098 award to AZEX. However, over the weekend, conditions on the site have changed, and we're recommending that we do not award this contract at this time until there's full resolution with the property owner as to the conditions of the site.
So the first one that you read, was it a summary of all of them, or just a summary
No,
of
it
the
was
first
just
one?
the first
We
one.
need to vote this down.
So we have, what's that?
We need to vote this motion down.
I would, and then if we have to, we'll bring it back at a later date.
So if we're voting this one down, is it assumed we're going to vote all four
No,
of them
sir.
down, or just the one?
Just the one.
One on
Okay.
Powell.
So we
Just
have,
the
we
one
have the
passed.
one on the table. We've heard the discussion and comments. Any other questions before we do take a vote?
Are we voting on Powell right now?
Yes.
Right now, we're just, there are going to be four
Yes.
separate ones, and this is the only one we're voting on, is the one Buzzy just spoke about.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas.
Nay.
Commissioner Pruitt.
No.
Commissioner Witt.
Nay.
Commissioner Vowles.
Nay.
Mayor Staten.
Nay. Nick, we heard your nay real loud. The yeses are real soft. Can we, I got you. You sound good now, man. The second one of these, you want to read the second one, please?
Municipal order number 47-24, municipal order awarding quote for demolition of 124 Letcher Street for the Code Enforcement Division to Hazex Construction Company Incorporated of Henderson, Kentucky in the amount of $5,833.
You have a motion to approve.
Moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? And we're good with this one, City Manager?
Yes.
We're good with this one. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Witt.
Aye.
Commissioner Vowles.
Aye.
Mayor Staten.
Aye. Municipal order number 3.
Municipal order number 48-24, municipal order awarding quote for demolition of 113 Thompson Street for the Code Enforcement Division to B&B Excavating Incorporated of Henderson, Kentucky in the amount of $7,350.
A motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion?
Just that Brittany is happy with this one.
Oh.
It's right next to a
Hey,
Habitat House.
all right. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt? Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Next up, we have municipal order number 4 of this series.
Municipal order number 49-24, municipal order awarding quote for demolition of 1601 Washington Street for the Code Enforcement Division to Hazex Construction Company Incorporated of Henderson, Kentucky in the amount of $7,097.
Do we have a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? I will say, this does seem like a lot of momentum for getting some things done, which I appreciate. And I'll also tell the board, without giving away too much, that one of the committees for the inner city are working on a blight project to bring to us at a later time. And I'm awfully excited about it, and hopefully things will come to fruition. It'll allow us to do even more. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt? Commissioner Vowles?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Okay, so we're going to go back to our presentations portion of the meeting. We have 2 presentations, and the first one on my list is the United Way of Henderson County. If we could have you come up to the podium and present to the commission what your findings for the grant process are.
I apologize for my tardiness. We are so happy that you guys could allow United Way to facilitate this process. Again, keep in mind, United Way is not the sole entity that made the decisions or the recommendations for the city grant process. Today with me is Jack Brewer, who is representing the allocations team that was put together for this process. Jack is employed with Audubon Metals, and he is who will be speaking to you all today. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Thank you again.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Did you get my email with the spreadsheet?
We did, yes.
Can we review that now, or we just want to discuss?
Do we have the spreadsheet available to be pulled up?
I don't think so. No.
It's okay. Do you have the information in front of you, Jack?
No, I do not.
Okay.
No, I do not. There were 13 applicants for the city, or for the allocations team to make recommendations. All of those 13. We had about a dozen or so diverse people out of the community that helped do these recommendations.
Okay.
I believe it was a little over $120,000-ish that were going to be made available to the non-for-profits that support the community in Henderson within the city limits. We were asked by United Way during the COVID times. We did allocations, some of us on the team did allocations on behalf of United Way. We were also included city and county monies during the COVID times that we did recommendations for those allocations as well. We were approached or myself was approached about the other dozen of us that helped on the allocations team to use the processes and procedures that we used during the United Way to try to retrofit it so something that the city and also the county is going to try to use for those allocations. It is a application process for all of them. It is a little different than what they're used to, but there has to be checks and balances during these processes and procedures, especially when it comes to having a 6-month update from those organizations, which it was included and is required for the 13 applicants that did receive funds from the city or the county. Not all the money was allocated. I believe there's roughly $18,000 from the city's portion that's still available. We chose not to divvy it all up because we did our recommendation portions. There's also, we're all halfway through the year, something could arise through the course of 2024 that money could be sent to, or the city and the commissioners can make those decisions and divvy that up. Again, these are just recommendations that the group came up with. You all can tweak and do what you see fit. After this is all said and done, we will be bringing you the process, also some recommendations, not only from our part to make the process a little more streamlined, but some recommendations for the city, the mayor, and the committee members, commissioners to take to heart. We are looking for sustainability within these non-for-profits that are being funded by Henderson City and also the county. So there are things like general utilities. We're not looking to use this money to pay rent. We're looking for it to build what you are attempting to do for the community itself. The sustainability portion of it is what we're looking for.
Jack, I have a question
Sure.
for you all, something that we did not cover throughout the process. And really it's for the commission and for you all. So we have, obviously we went a totally different direction this year. We used to have a committee who would make recommendations to the board, and then we would approve those part of the budget. Now, instead of having the committee, United Way is doing this process. And the follow-up piece I want to go back to. So everybody who applied is going to subject themselves to a 6-month follow-up piece. And it's always been our intention to save at least $15,000, which it sounds like we have $18,000, back for discretionary money in case the city commission would like to make any individual adjustments or recommendations also as part of this process. The question I have for you, and I'm sorry to do this in a meeting setting and not in a different setting. So when we make these recommendations, is it possible to have them also be subject to, or what are your feelings, to have them be subject to that 6-month requirement if we make recommendations that are not included in terms of the people who went through the actual grant process?
Say it again. Go ahead, Melissa.
Yeah.
Sorry, are you following me what I'm saying?
Yes, you and I spoke a little bit about that a few
Yeah.
weeks ago. So we are, and I'm looking at the recommendations here as well. What we are asking the group, the allocations team, is saying that in 6 months, come January, these organizations that receive funds from the city and the county will be asked to go back to United Way's website to fill out a financial review, an accountability piece. That's what this is. In the end, it's to tell us how they used the money, how much money was spent up to that time from the money you've awarded, where it went. Again, it's accountability. At the end of the day, that's what you're looking for. If these organizations do not complete this particular task at that 6-month mark, then they would not be eligible for funding. They would not be eligible to apply for the grant the following year. Now, with that being said, that's not just going to be said here today. There will be an information session that will happen in the early fall. We're looking about September, October to have conversations with these organizations after the money's gone out in July, to talk to them about that accountability piece, to go through the training on how they get on the website and they fill out the form. Also, it will be put in writing that at that time what the requirements will be moving forward. So that's what the mayor is speaking of, making sure that we are holding these organizations and future grantees to this particular accountability piece. Because if you don't fill it out, then what is the repercussions at the end of the day? So, yes.
So if we have an organization that, let's say that we come back next week, and so just procedurally, what we had discussed about doing, as long as the commission's okay with it, we're not going to approve these today. We're going to approve these at our next meeting, which will be next Tuesday. And when we do, we still have $18,000 of discretionary money that we could give out. What I'm thinking would be appropriate is if we took that $18,000 and divided it by 6. We have one for the city manager and then one for each member of the commission to look at this and then to come back with a recommendation on where to spend or allocate $3,000 to whatever organization. When we do that, if it's an organization that did not apply through the grant portal, but it's one that we assign, I still would like to have them go through the same process as the other people have to go through, the accountability piece.
Sure.
Because I don't think it's very fair if they didn't go through the process, and we have others get knocked out for next year's eligibility because of the review portion. I want to subject them to review as well, so that's why I was asking to see if that's okay
wanna
with you
just-
guys.
That'd be fine. Just send us a spreadsheet or a listing of the organizations that you all assign money to, whether it be extra or new, and we can set that up. Because we want to make sure that we get information out to that organization, because right now, if they did not get money, they would not be receiving some of the information. So yes, just if you'll send that to us, we'll take care of that. That's not a
Gotcha.
problem.
And while,
I would recommend that if it is new, that they still go through the application process. That way, everything is even keeled for those that did follow
We'll
the
need their information.
directions.
sure.
gotcha.
Yeah, we'll have to have their information, and we'll need to see. Also, it's a timestamp, and it stays in our system. So next year, if they apply, we can go back and look, and we can also, they can log in and see what they wrote for the previous year. There's record.
So while we have these in front of us, and while we have Melissa and Jack here with us, does the commission have any questions about anything that you're seeing or about anything to do with the process? I know that we've discussed the process before, but now we're down to implementing it. Does anyone have any questions or comments about anything that they're presenting to us or anything that they might be able to help us with while they're here?
No, I love the accountability part.
Melissa,
Yes, ma'am.
will you provide us actually what the funds are being used for so that we can verify that those funds
Yes, ma'am.
are allowed to be
And
used
just
for?
to be clear, United Way is only helping, we're using their process to do it, but they have nothing to do with the allocations or the funds distribution at all. That's the city and the county that will be doing that.
Yes, Kelsey, I will have her send you the document. She made a really nice document that shows all of that information. I'll have her send that right over to you guys. Not a problem.
Good deal. And then next week, we'll have just a general follow-up discussion before we approve this. And if each one of you can just be thinking about if you were to award $3,000, either extra over and above what these individuals have been awarded or a different organization that would qualify, then maybe we can bring that back for a group discussion and take suggestions and see how we can do the discretionary money
I
part.
guess it's a good idea.
Okay,
I like that idea.
gotcha.
Okay.
Good deal. Well, thank you all so much.
And
We
will also
really
have-
appreciate.
We also will have the applications available for you to review before next week.
Yes, if you want to see the applications as city commissioners, we will more than be happy to make those available for you to view, hard copy or electronically. You can let us know.
Good deal.
Thank you all for
Thank
doing
y'all.
that.
Thank
Yeah,
you for
we
all the
appreciate
work.
it.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
All right, next up, we have a presentation from the Homeless Coalition.
Hello.
Long time no see.
Listen, Commissioners, Whit already has these.
Thank you.
They were emailed to him.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And you guys may not want all of what's in that packet, but I'm gonna hand it all to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Commissioner Whit, we emailed this to you probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. I don't know if you've got it in front of you. So we are here today from the Henderson Homeless Coalition. Melissa and I are volunteers in that organization. And so we wanted to come and talk to you about the homeless case manager, give you an update. We did go to fiscal court this morning and speak with them as well. An overview of that job is to provide comprehensive housing focused services to economically disadvantaged individuals and families, including those experiencing and or at risk of homelessness in Henderson City and County, including those struggling with homelessness due to substance abuse. The goal is to acquire or maintain safe, healthy, affordable housing. And so what we did, this 2-pager, or right, you guys have it as a 1-pager, that was something that Mr. Snyder had asked me for, just to kind of give you a synopsis of all of this that's over here. The other 2 documents are the case manager's job description, if you just want to see it by itself, and a copy of the MOU that we are on thus far between us and the Patino shelter. So the best way I can explain the case manager and the way the Patino shelter comes in, because that's the question we've been asked a lot, is that we will work through the Patino shelter, the Henderson Homeless Coalition will. They will train the person will be an employee of theirs, but all funds will run through the Henderson County Homeless Coalition because the case manager will be housed and they will service Henderson County. The Patino shelter just has some specializations that we do not have, and we felt that their training is, far and above what we needed to make sure our case manager had in Henderson. So it's a partnership. They call it in the MOU, they call us the Henderson unit is what they call us. So very similar to the kind of way the Boys and Girls Club works. They can apply for Henderson grants because they have a Henderson unit, but of course a lot of their things go back through Cliff Hagan out of Owensboro. So that's the best kind of example I can give you that's similar to the kind of model that we had set up. And the job focus areas, you can see those below. I won't read all those to you. Like I said, those are just pulled out of the job description. Below that is the revenue. We do have to thank Mr. Matt Reynolds for making this beautiful chart. He loves numbers. I'm not a numbers person, so he said, just let me make you something real quick. So that just shows that we're asking the city and the county both for $20,000. And that's a total payroll expense of $40,000. That is per year. We are asking for a 3-year commitment. We did break this down on here into 1 year. And we show you the FICA, the unemployment, the workers' compensation, the Davis County occupational tax, and the administrative cost to the Patino shelter because they would be doing the person's payroll. So if you want to, you can go to the back. On the back is substance abuse and opioid addiction focus areas. That is there more for the county. The county specifically is trying to use their opioid funds to be able to help us get this case manager. So the presentation I gave this morning was a little more opioid based than this one. Because I believe the city is just going out of their general funds, not out of their opioid settlement or allotment money.
Do you mind to share with us how that, I don't know, and I'm genuinely asking how that meeting went with the county?
We were asked to go to a work session with them. We were asked, let me grab my phone real quick and I can answer one question that was asked this morning. One question we were asked is what statute of opioid money the homeless case manager would fall under, and they will fall under KRS 15.291. So, that means a lot more. I'm looking at the lawyer in the room, which is awesome, because I'm not a lawyer.
Did they give a general indication as to a willingness to move forward on their part?
So they asked us to come to a work meeting, and then their hope is to bring us back at, I'm not sure if it's the next fiscal court meeting or the one after that, to answer the last few questions that they had. With theirs being opioid funds, there's a little more finite detail that we've got to add to some MOUs and other things because of the way that settlement money has to be really, really tracked, and it's got a lot of legal jargon and things like that in it. So they just asked for some clarification on certain items earlier.
Gotcha.
It's KRS 15291, and it has a whole bunch of subsections as to what types of services can be funded through the opioid funds. So I'm sure that they've asked Brittany to try to narrow that down. My suggestion for this commission would be if you cannot use opioid money the first year, and then get documentation after the first year of how much of the work is would fall within some of those subsections, that would give us a better idea of whether opioid funds fits well under opioid funds, if we're able to do that.
I think that sounds like a reasonable approach. Buzzy, if we don't take it out of opioid funds, can you let us know how we might be funding this if we were to move forward?
I hate to put the burden on Chelsea because I think the ink is almost dry on the budget. However, to make it official, I'd probably recommend that she put that in as a placeholder in the final draft budget that will come before you all next Tuesday.
Okay. And I think...
Here she comes.
Hey, look at this.
I did put it in the special projects for the general fund, so I have about $18,000 set aside for this for next year.
as a placeholder?
Yes.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. And Brittany, I cut you off. Did you have some more that you would like to share with us, or are you good?
No, we just wanted to leave time for any questions that you guys
Okay.
had. Like I said, you have a copy of the MOU. I won't go over that in great detail. That was just something that was particularly asked for by the fiscal court. It does have a job description in the back. I think this one's a little bit easier to read for those of us, again, that are not lawyers. But if you guys have any particular questions on any of these, and we can keep you updated on our work meeting with the fiscal court, and then come back to you guys again, since you guys both meet on the same day.
Gotcha.
Our plan is to bring you guys both the same
Sorry,
days.
you have a,
I was just gonna, can you tell everybody that's listening how much the Patino shelter already helps us?
So the Patino shelter, right now, they cover the entire grad region. So they are not paid by Henderson County in any way, shape, or form, and they send over their case managers when they're able to go ahead and do street outreach. I know they go to Roberts, I know they go to Hebbardsville, to Niagara. They are already keeping close tabs on the homeless here in Henderson. The problem with that is they just don't have a whole lot of case managers. And we felt as our problem continued to grow, we would like a dedicated case manager here. We'd also like a dedicated case manager who knows Henderson, who knows the people that live here, know the services that are available, and interconnect those services for people. The other thing that the Patino shelter does is they keep a lot of statistics for us. That was one thing we were asked about this morning, and they're grabbing those for us to give back to us as well. Lastly, they do have their shelters. Both Harry is the shelter director for St. Benedict's and also the Patino shelter. And I'm sorry, the executive director of both shelters, excuse me. And they still have those open to Henderson right now. And I will tell you, they've had to close them out to other counties. I don't believe Madisonville can use them any longer because they have such an influx coming from Owensboro. So we are trying desperately to keep these relationships open because we don't have a family shelter and we don't want them closing out to Henderson County. And we did actually, Harry came in this morning, we actually went and visited the free office space that Bobby Jarrett has for us. Just have to go through some lawyers again. And then we will be signing an MOU with them. And that office space is being donated by the Housing Authority, and we are so grateful for the community partners that we have. So pretty much besides the case manager, we are all set to go.
so, buzzy question, since it's going to be included in our budget, and in effect, by approving the budget, we would be approving this position. Do we need a separate motion today to set this in motion, or can we just rely on our budget motion next week?
I think it helped for future reference that y'all take formal action today,
Okay.
and that'll solidify the budget.
Still have
for
the
next
county
week.
on board?
Well, here's the thing, and that's, I'm going to take into consideration your comment and ask for a motion. If you guys, so we've been discussing this, in case you didn't know, we've been discussing this now for a year and a half, and homelessness is one of those issues that are it's just so hard to deal with, because there's two sides to it. And there's a public safety side, which earlier on this year, we implemented a new curfew at parks that are located next to residential areas in hopes to beef up our concerns on security. There's also the human side, the people who are actually experiencing homelessness. And everyone who experiences homelessness is not for the same reason. They're not all on drugs. They're not all mentally incapable. They're a plethora of different reasons. And so to attack that side, we've been working with the Homeless Coalition. They've been discussing with us this homeless case manager position will be split with the county. What I'd like to, if it pleases the commission, I'd like for somebody to make a motion that to move forward with funding this position contingent on approval by the county to do the same. Is that,
So moved.
there we go.
And can we also include that we'll have a funding agreement at that point?
Contingent on the county approving it and on a funding agreement at that point.
So moved.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second.
Third.
Any other questions, comments, suggestions?
I just got a question. What happens, say like something goes on, the police comes to an apartment house, and all of a sudden, they need to take a family kids or somebody, and what happens, how does that work?
So right now, it would kind of depend. I will tell you, Reverend Charles Johnson would be their next call right now, because Reverend Charles Johnson is taking all the 911 calls. So he's very excited about getting a case manager in place, because he's probably been doing the 911 calls for 8 or 9 months.
Yeah.
I mean, do we have any places set up that we can house a family or mother's domestic violence, say, hey, we need to get her out of here and kids?
So-
Do we have anything like that now?
We don't have anything like that locally. Once 911 reached out to Charles, then from there, we would reach out to our contacts, whether those are the Patino shelter, whether those are the Father Bradley shelter, or the Harbor House if they weren't full. There is a domestic violence shelter that is close. Of course, we reach out to the Chloe Randolph Foundation, and we would ask them, to help with that part. So that's probably the way that we take care of it. If it wasn't a domestic violence issue and maybe the family just needed a place to stay for a couple of days, I do know the ministerial committee is trying to step in as much as they can as well. If it's just a temporary kind of thing, and of course, Miss Bobby Jarrett tries to step in as fast as she can if she's got housing available and families are approved.
And we've got two important things that are going to happen. One is in the budget, and one is being discussed. So in the police department's budget, they have in their budget adding a victim's advocate. And a victim's advocate would be involved heavily in any kind of domestic violence organizational activities for victims. And then we also have our Inner City Improvement Plan Public Safety Group. One of their main projects that they're working on is working to try to identify a pathway for us to have our own domestic violence temporary sheltering housing in Henderson. So yeah, those are two things that we're working on directly to your point, yeah.
And one other thing that this person would do that I'd like to mention is they will work with people that feel that they're getting ready to experience homelessness. Working with Habitat, you have a lot of families in Henderson, they're teetering around the edge. We had someone that is part of our homeless coalition, and she said if her family missed 2 paychecks, they'd be homeless. And that was kind of took my breath away when she mentioned that in a meeting, but we were kind of mentioning why the coalition was important to us, and she said, this could be my family. If I lose 2 paychecks, I break my leg, I get sick, we're going to need the homeless coalition as much as anybody else, and I think we have a lot of families out there like that. So this person would also work with those people to try to keep them in housing or find them more stable housing so that they don't become homeless or housing insecure. So that is our hope.
And like the mayor said, there's a lot of different reasons, but one thing, I'm in the landlord business. 2 bedrooms are going for $1,200 to $1,500 a month. That's big right now in Henderson.
Yes.
And it's $1,500 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment.
KHC just did a preliminary study with a third party. I believe Henderson County is about 1,900 and some change units short of affordable housing, and that's across all socioeconomic classes. So we would need that many houses to even meet the demand of what we have here right now. And they'll do far more studies, but we found that very interesting. And a big thing that they're saying is when the first family can't find, their plan A, they're going to their plan B. The family that would have used the plan B apartment, they have to go to their plan C apartment. And therefore, when you get further down, people are getting completely pushed out of housing because everybody's having to go to their second or third plan because we just don't have enough affordable housing in town to begin with. So, but we're all working
If I say
together.
something for just a minute. From Homeless Coalition standpoint, also just a nonprofit standpoint, working with the Patino shelter is a win-win for Henderson in many ways. But the major win for us is right now we cannot sustain a family shelter. We just can't. We don't have another organization, because it was asked of us early on, is there an organization in our community that could take that on, that would have the capability and sustainability to do that? And there's not. We have gone down that road, and one of the things that United Way talks about a lot is we don't need to bring another nonprofit to Henderson right now. We've got the nonprofits and the community leadership to really move us forward in many ways, and we can handle it here. And having that partnership with Patino, because of that grad partnership also, that is also important too. We've had great conversations through the East End Improvement Plan. Oh my goodness, the Economic Development Group, we went and spoke with grad. What partnerships we have there that are going to help us with the homelessness piece as well is huge. So we're very pleased with what we already have in place and what we see coming in the future as well with some of the work we're already doing locally. So I think that this is a good situation for us to be in. I will say, Vince asked me, and I want to clarify just so we say this on the record. This morning in fiscal court, it was asked that we present again at the City County Co-op again. The reason for that is because of the opioid piece, just like Dawn said. They're looking at that statute, making sure the county is looking to bring the majority of their funding coming from that particular piece of legislation, which is different from what the city is looking at. So I wanted to clarify that for Vince and make sure that you all were aware of that as well.
And another point of clarity on the motion that we have on the floor. So our motion, again, going back to what Dawn said, was to provide 1 year's worth of funding. The county, if they end up approving this, and I think there's been some positive stuff that I've heard from some of the magistrates and the judge, if they end up approving this, they are likely to approve 3 years' worth of funding at one time.
Yes.
And that's because of the rules that they're bound by in terms of year to year. We are not doing that. We are doing 1 year's worth of funding. We will reevaluate next year and then approve it next year should the program prove viable and something that we want to continue.
And one question they did ask is how often people, the case manager would come and report to you. That's however often you want them to come and report to you, whether you want that to be in the city and city county co-op meetings, as I believe another organization does, or if you want it to be like this, they'll come and report to you, and we'll have analytics for you whenever and wherever you want those analytics to be.
Gotcha.
So we're open on that.
You know, I think once or twice a year might be appropriate to come to this body and not the city county co-op group, as long as you guys are in okay with that. I don't think it's necessarily a quarterly type thing or something like that, but once or twice a year might be something that might be nice just to hear from the person who's doing that job and what kind of impact they're having in our community. Any other questions or comments?
I just want to say one thing. Homeless, whether people like it or not, it's coming from, when I'm in Atlanta, I see all those homeless people and I look at all the skyscrapers and all the billions of dollars, and they've got a problem. And it's coming down to Henderson. Now, if you sometimes you go down the road, you're not really watching. Homeless people are walking by you, you don't even see them. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't even recognize them. But I'm starting to see now.
In September, we'll do a fall count, which is just something our homeless coalition does. We'll invite all of you, if any of you want to go with us. That was eye-opening for me. That got me more involved in the homeless coalition and showed me there are areas of town, as Commissioner Pruitt said, that I don't even pay attention to. And there are many homeless here, but we also have a very caring community, and we appreciate you guys letting us speak today.
To take back just a step on this, talk a little bit about the history of it. We had some ordinances considering what to do with our homeless a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. And I think at that time we reached out to the Homeless Coalition and said, what's your suggestion? You all have brought forward this suggestion for a good while now. It's been at least 6 months. I don't know how long. And I'd really like to see it be implemented, and I hope the county will get on board and get this done.
I believe Commissioner Witt had something he'd like to add too.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, no, I appreciate the Homeless Coalition, all their work they've done. I know we started, I guess we had a work session in October, November to discuss it, but, to Commissioner Pruitt's point, you have to be kidding yourself and think it's not something that's prevalent in our community. I know every community across the country is working hard to try to address the issue, so I'm glad that we're all part to try to address it as well. I think one thing also that, we might lose sight of is there was a new House Bill 5 that was passed by the Kentucky State Legislature, which basically will require us, if we ask homeless to leave and they're camping outside and they not have a place to go, and maybe fine them, I guess, and perhaps then the next option, I guess, is to prison them. I don't think anybody realistically, once that's happened, nor should anybody logically think that's remotely a humane way of trying to deal with this issue. So I'm glad we're trying to find solutions that, show some humility and understanding and tries to help them get forward in life. And, hopefully maybe through this, the case manager and the discussion might be a positive step forward to what Melissa had alluded to in terms of trying to find a more permanent solution of a shelter down the road.
Absolutely. Great comment. So just a reminder of what we have on the floor, and then we can take a vote if there are no other questions or suggestions. So we have a motion on the floor to move forward with funding this position as a part of next year's fiscal budget, contingent on the county also making that approval, and contingent on
A funding agreement.
a funding agreement. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Aye.
Commissioner Pruitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Witt?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowles?
Aye.
Mayor Staten?
Aye. Thank you. Do we have any other, do we have city manager or city attorney reports, anything on there, Jay?
I've got one item that needs pretty immediate attention.
Wait a minute. Is it on the agenda?
Under city manager's report.
Okay. Okay.
Dylan, do you mind coming
No,
to the
there-
podium real quick? Come on. Just hand out what you've got. We're just asking for your review of a proposed sign for the new sports complex. We're nearing that time that we need to send it out for bids. And Dylan, do you have any comments you want to make?
Really, this is just something we just received. It's just a conceptual idea that was provided by one of our vendors. And as Buzzy said, this would meet the bid threshold. So really all we're looking for is just kind of the nod to proceed forward with putting together a bid package to do something like this. To be clear, this is the sign that's going to be going on Airline Road. So where the main entrance to the sports complex will be, this would be right there as they're coming in. So we're talking about a different sign that will be on the Audubon Parkway, but this is the one that will be actually at the entrance. So as you can see, we're proposing an LED sign, but it's just on one side. So the back side that faces most of the housing out in that area will not have a sign for multiple reasons. One, because we don't expect much of the traffic to come from that direction. And two, also just keeping in mind any potential light directing in that way. So that's really all we've got. Just looking for confirmation that you all kind of like the concept, and that's the direction that you all are good with heading.
About 25 feet tall, is that what that looks like?
I think it's 18,
18,
roughly. I think is
okay.
what it said. Yeah, 18, 20, somewhere in there.
I didn't know how tall a little person was on
Yeah,
it.
it says. Oh yeah, you probably can't see it. It is 6 feet. That's a 6 foot person.
Okay,
So.
okay. Are we, the only request that I have really, it's not the sign, I think the sign looks great. It's make sure that we leave enough distance between the edge of the sign and the road so that it doesn't become a visibility issue, because it's solid on the bottom.
Yeah.
And so, the drivers are not gonna be able to see through that bottom like they would if it was a top-heavy sign.
Mhm.
So we need to keep that in mind, but other than that, I like it. What do you guys think?
I love it.
I think it looks beautiful.
Yeah. And to your comment, Mayor, that we should be good. There's an existing curb island, or there will be, where it's gonna go in, and it's pretty far back off I say pretty far back, it's an appropriate amount back from where the actual intersection is, so.
Good deal. Any other questions, or everybody giving the blessing to move forward in that direction? Is that okay? Good. Nick, did,
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I don't know if there's a way that the video camera can zoom in on it. You take our word for it, looks great.
It looks good.
I can email him a copy.
Yeah, if you don't.
Yeah, you're fine, yeah. You know, that's cool.
The only other reminder, we have a special call meeting next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. We will have any second reads on that agenda, as well as the final budget for approval, as well as HW's budget, and HMP&L will be here only to present their budget. It does not require your approval. So that would be the agenda for next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Four.
I got it.
5 o'clock. Yeah, we figured it out.
I got you. Sorry. Yes, sounds good. And then going back to something we discussed earlier on today, if each commissioner could just kind of examine this list that was given to us by the folks at United Way, and make sure that you're comfortable with the suggestions that they have given us. And then also, if you could, we have $18,000 in discretionary money. If each one of you could just think about if you had $3,000 personally of discretionary money to give out as part of this process, what organization on the list might deserve more money, or is there a qualifying organization that's not on the list that might enjoy that money as well? Then we can have that discussion next week on how we're going to do the discretionary money also. And with that, because it's a special call meeting, we don't have anything else on the agenda. We do have need for an executive session.
No appointments?
Not for today.
No.
Ready for it?
Yes.
I move that the commission go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.8101 subsection C for discussion of proposed litigation by the city.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, we're heading into executive session.